Hello everyone. How's everybody doing? I got all the men are in the car today, all of them, and we're on the way to our little group meetup. Didn't really plan for all of the men to come, but that's okay. The babies haven't been out of the house in a while.
Yeah, Noah.
And where we go is just a lot of big open areas to run around. And sorry, there's a conversation going on in the back. But anyway, yeah, this is a little bit different than my normal videos. You guys know my channel is about prepping. But I wanted to go ahead and touch on parenting a little bit. Not because I think I am an expert at it, but I do have quite a bit of experience. You guys that watch the channel know that, oh, there's number 3 sticking his head back. Hey, Trey. You guys watch the channel know that I got a buttload of kids. And so far, so good. Yeah, I'm pleased with the outcome so far. Got a long way to go though, right? But anyway, this is just going to kind of be Big G's guide to parenting, I guess. I don't know. Well, baby, you having a good time? Anyway, with the parenting, my biggest, got the corona back there or what? My biggest tip is pay attention to your kids. Spend time with your kids, okay? No, we're not watching a DVD while Daddy's trying to make a video. That would be a no-no.
I was going to turn the volume up.
That's a good idea, though, but no, not right now. Anyway, yeah, spend time with the kids, guys. Yeah, you made them, but you still got a lot of work to do after that. Do things with them. Do things that they're interested in, not just things that you're interested in. All the boys are with me today, not because I made them come, but because they wanted to, okay? And I attribute that because I try to spend time with them. And take interest in what they're interested in. And it kind of varies between ages. Like if you're talking toddler, you know, they really don't have a whole lot of interest besides toys and eating and, you know, stuff like that. But still, you know, I still play Iron Man and Hulk with the babies, you know. Yes, when my daughter was young, she dressed me up and we had tea time. So it's just take the time. You talking to age 4 to 8, 9 range. Yeah, they love her being around mommy and daddy. Okay. Still, they really haven't developed a lot of their own interest yet. But, excuse you, my boy just burped. But still, yeah, take time, watch your cartoons with them, you know. Turn on some Bugs Bunny or whatever it is you used to watch. It was funny, I caught them watching, what was it, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the other day or something. I remember they started watching DuckTales or something. But yeah, watch those things with them. Spend time with things they want to do. When you get into the 10 to, man, come on over, girl. I love how people get on the interstate, but they wait until they're absolutely out of room before they look over to see if they can get over it, right? That was a big hole. Anyway, if you're talking age, yeah, 10 to early teens, they're starting to develop things that they're interested in. Maybe things that you're not so interested in. But you still want to spend that time, okay? Go slow. I'm on the interstate. I can't go slow. Anyway, like me and my oldest here, he's into the hunting, the fishing, the outdoors, a lot of the things that I am. And those are the things we do together. Old Trey back there, well, not my oldest son, Trey back there, into what else? Video games and football. Loves the football, right? So what we do is we play some Madden together every now and then. Spending individual time together with the kids. Yeah, numero dos over here, the oldest boy. If we're working on something, he's right there. Trey helps out a lot too. He just hasn't got into that as much yet. But my daughter, I definitely want to spend the time with her because she is definitely at an age where you gotta watch, and that comes that next age group where it's like mid-teens on up through young adult, right? I do not experience my kids yelling and screaming at me and telling me that they hate me, okay? And that starts from a young age, spending the time with them, okay? Letting them know that, yeah, daddy cares, mommy cares. But my daughter, we have frank discussions. We don't really sugarcoat a lot. We don't rule over her with an iron fist. But at the same time, she knows her boundaries. We have had the talks with her and her boyfriend, okay? And we're going to get into this a second, and the young ones probably won't realize, and the older ones here we've already talked with. Having that discussion about the you-know-what, right? Yeah, I've had that discussion with all of my older children, and we had that discussion right around 11, 12 when they started, developing. Yes, baby. Well, baby, too fast. Well, there's people behind me. I can't slow down. Because I wanted that information to come from my wife and I, not the schools or TV and music and everything else. I wanted it to come from us. When my daughter got a boyfriend, okay, around that age where you really got to start watching, I had a discussion with him as well. It was actually kind of funny. We were on a family trip in an RV, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was my co-pilot. And I pretty much started the conversation by saying, you and I are about to have an uncomfortable conversation. And to his credit, we had a good talk. I explained why you shouldn't do you-know-what. Number one is because God says not to. Those of you that watch my channel know that I am a Christian, and yeah, that kind of controls my life. But gee, they're going to do it anyway. I can't agree with that, okay? Yeah, we tell our kids not to do that. We tell them not to do that before marriage. I don't have any illusion that they're going to make it that far. I'm hoping that they do. If they don't, I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm not just going to accept it and say, well, that's the world we live in. No. And I've explained that to them. And yes, now I can hear you, well, they're just going to go behind your back. That's their choice, okay? I kind of equate it to like, I know a lot of parents out there purchase protection for their children with the thought process of they're going to do it anyway, I want them to be safe about it. Okay, I kind of equate that to telling your kids, now you know you're not supposed to rob stores and shoot people, right? You know, but if you do, make sure you wear this ski mask and these gloves, and here, wear these earplugs. I don't want you to lose your hearing when you're shooting them. No, it's if you and to each their own. Okay, you guys know that about me. But anyway, if you're telling your kids don't do this, but I know you're going to anyway use these, that's pretty much telling them to do it. And I know that this is going to get all kinds of comments, and that's okay. But yeah, I can't tell them one thing but then give them the tools to do the exact opposite. I can't do that. If they choose to go ahead and do whatever it is they do, and something happens from that, they're going to have to live with that. Today's society, unfortunately, has justified many, many, many things that, you know, they've made things okay that shouldn't be okay. And also, I don't want parents out there saying, well, I did that, so I can't really tell them not to do that because then I'm a hypocrite. No, that's not being a hypocrite, okay? If you are currently doing something and then tell them not to do it, that's being a hypocrite. If you catch your kids smoking marijuana and you call them into your room and have a talk about how bad drugs are while you're toking away, no, that's being a hypocrite. But the mistakes you made, you have to try to impart that on your children and explain to them why they were mistakes and why you shouldn't do them. Like I said, we're very frank with our kids. We tell them what's going to happen. One of my children are probably going to be, are about to be really embarrassed. But anyway, we found, you know, on one of their phones that they were looking up things they shouldn't. Okay, and it wasn't horrible, but they shouldn't have been doing that. And pretty much, I told them that you shouldn't be doing this. I understand why you're doing it, but I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm saying I understand, but you're not supposed to do this because of blank, okay? And we'll kind of leave it there. You don't want to make those things acceptable, you know, giving them the protection and expecting, you know, when they, oh my gosh, I can't believe, no, you just handed them the keys, man. So be frank with your kids, be loving with them. You know, don't rule with an iron fist, but you have to set those boundaries. And tell them, don't just tell them, don't do this. Tell them, don't do this, and this is why you don't do this, okay? Kids are smarter than a lot of people give them credit for, okay? As parents, we are constantly fighting against society, okay? If you look at music, movies, all that, society as a whole, they've glorified alcohol, drugs, gender confusion, whatever you want to call it. They've glorified, fornication, premarital sex. And if we don't have those conversations with them, they won't have any other guidance other than what they're getting from the world around them. So you can't be afraid to talk with them about stuff. And yes, it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable, I will tell you that. And I'm not saying that by sitting down and having a conversation with your children that they're going to be good little boys and girls and they're never going to do anything wrong. No, I'm not saying that either. Approach everything in a loving but stern way and make sure there are boundaries. Like I said, with my daughter and her boyfriend, they both understand the rules. There is no going off to the bedroom just to sit and talk or something. No, I'm not stupid. No, that don't happen. Yes, and I do understand that by, jailing them up, they're just going to try to escape even more. I understand that philosophy as well. As of yet, we haven't had that issue because we go ahead and we do discuss things with them. But there's a lot to it other than just the discussing. Like I said, from a young age, we've spent time with them. With me, I try to spend time individually with all of them, and it's very difficult. You don't want any of them feeling like they are loved any less, or daddy spends all of his time with blank, or mommy only pays attention to blank. It's tough to do, and that's where going back to finding what they're interested in and doing what they're interested in. I knew a guy, he had issues with his daughter, and they knew these issues were going to be coming for a long time, from when she was younger, okay? And, I told the guy, it's like, well, you need to spend some time with her. And he said, well, I do. We go do this and do that. It's like, yeah, that's all the stuff that you're interested in, but you need to do the things that she's interested in. Yeah, take her clothes shopping. Yeah, that sucks. I've done that with my daughter. We've just had daddy-daughter days where I take her to the mall, and I loathe the mall. But she likes the mall, so that's what we do. Do school shopping or stuff like that. I've done that with her. But find those things that are important to them, and what that does, it shows them that you care. Instead of just saying, yeah, we care. No, that shows them that you care. Man, we're at 18 minutes here. But, yeah, pretty much as far as parenting, I don't want to say it's easy. It's not easy. But I think people tend to make it harder than it really needs to be. No, I am not a child development expert. I have not written any books on how to parent, blah, blah, blah. But I got a bunch of kids. And even before my wife and I had children, my parents were foster parents. So we had a lot of experience with that. I can't recall exactly how many children we have. You ask my mother, she could tell you. But I want to say it was something like over 30 different kids. So I was learning even then, and those kids, your heart breaks for them. They've had every type of abuse and neglect and everything you can imagine. But I learned then as far as what works and what doesn't work. And the biggest thing is just spending time with them, guys. Those of you that, watch the channel know that I am an ex-police officer. The area that I was a cop in was suburbia / rural. It was like right on the edge. And we had those areas of the allotments with the $300,000 homes, and we had farms and everything in between. But it was really funny, not funny, haha. It was very interesting, there we go, that we had a lot of problems out of the juveniles. That was the majority of our issues. And most of the time, you'd get little Johnny and you'd take him home, and the mom wouldn't even know he was gone. And then when you get him out of the car and walk him up to the door, the mom would pat him on the shoulder and tell him to go on, and Mommy's going to handle this. Okay? Kids not having any boundaries, kids knowing that they can do whatever and Mommy and Daddy's going to fix it for them, and parents throwing PlayStations, tablets, phones at their kids just to get their kids out of their hair. I think that's one of the biggest problems with parents is they have the kids, and then once the kids become too much a drain on their personal time, they start buying them things to occupy, buying babysitters pretty much. The PlayStations, the tablets, and don't get me wrong, my kids all love the tablets and the PlayStations and everything else. But we take additional time for other things. But yeah, a lot of people just want to buy their kids stuff, and you'll go over to visit some buddies or something and wonder where the kids are at, and they're locked upstairs in their room, and pretty much the kids will get home from school or wherever it is they've been, and they'll go straight upstairs, and they spend all their times in their room, all of their time, there we go, in their room, playing video games on the computer, talking on the phone, whatever it is. Now, everybody needs their personal time too, okay? I'm not saying that. But when the kids are constantly around those type of things and have no guidance, they're just going to drift. You have to spend time with your kids. Nothing wrong with the kids going to the room and playing, but it can't be 100% of the time. Is it quiet in the house when they do that? Yeah, it's not too bad, right? You can watch whatever you want to on TV, or if you want to work on a hobby that you got for a while, you can do that, and things like that. But that's not really parenting. And that's where we found our biggest problem is people not parenting, and then when something happens with the kids, instead of disciplining them, don't worry about it, I'll take care of this. Like I said, I'm a Christian. You guys watch the channel know that. Spare the rod, spoil the child. That is in there. I'm not saying beat your children. Never. I'm not saying that. In fact, these in here, I can't remember the last time they've had to have a little pat on the butt, right? But they do lose their phones, and they do lose their PlayStation and stuff like that. There's commenting from the back. But anyway, yeah, the Bible says that, I'm trying to remember how it goes. He that hates his child will not discipline him. It doesn't say, you okay, baby? Coughing from the back. Okay. I've had to pop so many things out of these kids over the years, you wouldn't believe. But anyway, if you decide not to discipline them, it's because you hate them. If you love them, you will discipline them. They have to have that. And even adults, if you guys read Proverbs at all, I think I've said on here before that every day I read Proverbs. Proverbs has 31 chapters, And there's 31 days in the month except for February. So if it's the 8th, you read the 8th chapter, blah, blah, blah. Proverbs is a great book. But it even talks about rebuking, correcting, telling somebody that that's not quite right. You rebuke a wise man, and he can learn from that. But the fool can get stripes, or get the beating, and it does nothing. So you have to strive to, when somebody says that maybe you're not doing something right, or you need to do it a different way, instead of just getting upset and waiting to snap back on them, listen to them. And that's hard for everybody. I don't care who you are. Any of you guys that are married can agree to that. Quit that coughing. But anyway, yeah, but the biggest thing is just spending the time with the kids, guys. I know I've said that many times already in this video, but that's it, is making sure the kids are comfortable talking to you, be their buddy, but at the same time, make sure they understand that you have that authority and that they respect that authority. When I was a police officer, I remember this one 15-year-old girl had taken her daddy's car without permission and wrecked it. And she was quiet the whole time, and she was respectful to me when she was answering questions. And her mother got there, and she became a completely different person. In front of me, she was cussing out her mother. Okay? That mother did not instill any discipline in that girl. That's probably what led to the yanking of the car to begin with. It got so bad that I pretty much had to stop the girl and say, "You're not going to talk like that to your mother in front of me." And she calmed down a little bit. She recognized my authority, but when it came to her mother, she didn't recognize any authority whatsoever. This was somebody that she's been pushing around all her life, and she can continue to push her around, and she knew that. Anyway, I'm trying to remember where my turnoff is. We'll go this way. It'll be fun.
Yeah, this is where the turnoff is. I can remember because there's always that fake deer right there.
Nice. Letting my nose follow the way, guys. But anyway, yeah, I'll wrap it up here. I know we're a long video here. I'll let you guys go. Spend the time with the kids. Have those discussions with the kids. Make sure your kids understand boundaries. And when they violate those boundaries, make sure there's discipline involved. A lot of people are real bad for, if you do that again, I'm going to smash your PlayStation, whatever. And then the kids do that again, and the parents are like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do with you." Now, I'm not wrecking anybody to go out and smash somebody's PlayStation, because we got to pay for that, right? But what I am recommending is don't say those things in the first place. Don't threaten things that you know that you can't follow through on. When you tell the kids you're going to do something, make sure you do it. They will respect you in the end for that. They will understand that the next time you say, "Don't do that," or "This is going to happen," they're going to be like, "Yep, they're going to do that this time, so maybe I shouldn't do that." But anyway, I'll wrap it up. I'm sorry. I know I'm keep yapping here, so I'll let it go. And until next time, talk to you guys after a while.